I get asked a lot of questions about how I finish out my Cardens. So today I'll give a brief description of that. As I build the aircraft, we finish sand it as we go with the 80 grit sandpaper on a T-bar. Big T-bar for a lot of the work, and then the smaller T-bar later on. Then I'm going to soak it down really good with hairspray. A lot of people ask about that. How much do you use, what type you use, and whatever. This is what I use. Maximum hold. Terry Boston was the one that taught me that trick. He said to use a maximum hold in the manual pumps. I actually go through enough of the hairspray that that doesn't work so good for me as far as this type of bottle. So I go ahead and dump it in a bigger bottle to spray with. As I'm building out an airplane like this is a Carden Pro. I'm actually redoing this airplane, but if I was to build this from scratch, I probably would go through somewhere around 8 bottles of this. Meaning before we sheet the wings and the tail and all of the foam, I'll have some hairspray on that to keep the glue from soaking in as much. That takes up some. The rest is during the finish process. I'll use somewhere around 5 bottles-ish, something like that, to finish out the plane. I put it on pretty liberally. So sand with the 80. We're going to soak it down pretty good with the white rain. Quite often I'll even soak the airplane down with just water before we do this to raise the grain, raise all the imperfections so you can sand them off. Then I'm going to come back after the hairspray has dried. I'm going to come back with 150 on another T-bar here and just sort of go over the whole model with that. I sand with the grain whenever I can, being kind of light pressure, not real heavy pressure. The hairspray makes the wood grain kind of stay put so that the soft grains and the harder grains sand more evenly. If you don't use the hairspray, you can still get good results, but it's harder as that pulpy part of the balsa tends to leave easier than the harder grain balsa. So we're going to sand it all down with the 150, and then I'm going to apply a lot lighter coat of the hairspray for my final finish. The reason why is because we're really pretty close to ready to cover at this point. So we're not looking to raise the imperfections of the grain with the moisture. We're not looking to raise glue joints and so on and so forth. We're just looking to sort of give it the texture that we want for covering. So we'll sand it down with the 150, reapply the hairspray, and then we're going to go finish sand with 220. Once again, I usually use a small block for my finish sanding rather than the longer bars. Longer bars for the build process, smaller bars for the finish process. So we'll apply it lightly, then we'll finish sand with this, vacuum it, blow it out with an air compressor, make sure there's no dust anywhere, and go on to finishing out the model with our Monocoat or Ultra Coat. This here, I'll go ahead and show you what my finish hairspray application would look like. Might be a little hard to see with the camera. If this was the intermediate step, I would have the balsa wood completely soaked. Now when I say completely soaked, I don't mean puddled up and running and dripping off. I just mean making sure that everything has got moisture on it. And then I'll flip it over and do that to the other side. Finish sand with our 220, vacuum it all out, and we'll be ready to go.